What is up, everybody? It's Twisted Nerve. I'm back with you guys, streaming some Airbus ops out of Newark. We're here in the Airbus A320 United Evo Blue. We're going from Newark down to Raleigh-Durham on our first leg, and if we feel like it, we'll go from Raleigh-Durham to O'Hare. Uh, so let's get into it. All right, so looking at the weather, um, we got a pretty easy flight, or pretty generally a pretty smooth flight today, all the way down to Raleigh-Durham. Um, we're in between two major isobars here, so not a huge pressure gradient as we go through. Just observation-wise, we got some SIGMETs up to the northwest, and some stuff moving north. We'll be into Raleigh-Durham well before this cell gets over there. Just looking at turbulence, we'll be cruising at 260 today, so we'll look at 270. We'll have a little bit of turbulence as we climb out. Probably as we reach our cruise altitude, we'll be pretty smooth. So we're going to leave that seatbelt sign on until we get up to cruise for everybody. With that being said, let's hop into the plane. All right, so right now we have passengers boarding currently. We're 36 out of 128. You can see them filing on to our flight over to Raleigh-Durham. Let's go ahead and get our stuff plugged into the box here. So we have, actually let me go ahead, since I have the seatbelt sign on, just go ahead and put that on there. Let's go ahead, KRD, nope, EWR, KRD, right, 18, cost, let's go over here. All right. 260. ISO deviation of plus 7 degrees, so that's going to be minus 30. Alright, cost index of 60. That means we'll be burning some gas up at altitude. Not a ton though. And we are United 1248. Alright, and a headwind component of 11. Alright, so Newark is departing south. I already checked the thing. We'll take the Newark 5. Let's slow down a little bit. Elevate. Neck. Looking up the side of your neck. White. There, airways Q409. Yes, it is Q, not Quebec. J and Q, we say the actual letter, not the phonetic. V and T, we say phonetic. So Victor and Tango, which are Victor or low radio, like VOR airways, and T are low GPS airways. Then you have Q, which are high GPS airways, and J, which are high, or Juliet, which are high radio airways. Vils. So no, it's not people being lazy. That's literally what it is. Nails. All right. Direct to nails. N-A-E-N-L. Whatever that is. Can't spell. Nails, nails, nails. Willing to bet it's not the 3,000 mile away one. Quebec 141. Ookie. So just to give you perspective, Hookie is near Norfolk. So the arrival into Raleigh-Durham starts near Norfolk. So we're landing south, I guess 2-3 left. Just put the ILS in for now. You don't have to put in a you don't have to put in an approach. I just do because you can always change it. It's going to be the same process whether you leave it out or put it in. Sweet. All right. So we want the disc on here. Don't delete the disc on. That's part of the departure because there's a radio navigation element. All right. The init page we'll fill in when we're done. So going down through just some more weather, right? Going through the flight maps again. All right. Some light icing, you know, at the surface up as we get near our destination, but overall pretty, you know, about 15 knot headwind up top. So that matches our headwind of about 11 because it's not quite head on, it's offset. All right, at 260. There we go. All right. Over departures here in a second. Sync the load sheet to right. Intersection data. It's going to be whiskey. It's going to be 10, 150. There we go. Really, the trim's flat like that. Okay. So when you get 140, when you get V1 and VR like this, I like to add -10, so it'll be 137, 147. So we'll go here, perf 37. All right. Just looking for no discontinuities. This will work itself out as we get near there. Okay, let's go ahead and fire up the APU. We should have done that a little earlier. I'm just off my timing today. Right, and while that's firing up, let's go ahead and look at our departures. Alright, so basically what's going to happen is we're going to take off from 22 right, basically at 400 feet. Yep. At 400 feet, we're going to turn right, or turn left to 190. Once we hit 2.3 from ILSQ, which is the ILS frequency for 4 right, we are going to basically turn right to 220, maintain 2,500. We're going to climb past that because we have no ATC on. That's how we would do it normally. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to come down here. Actually, I think in the Airbus, yeah, so it has it here. So at this point, we're that distance 2.3, but what you would actually do is you would go here to NavRad. Right, you would put in, well, ILSQ is available, so you would put ILSQ here, and basically you would do the same thing. So instead of dialing it in, you would just put it, you would just punch it into the box. Alright, but it does it automatically for us in the Airbus, so that's fine. So we're going to set, well, we'll just turn 220 when we leave there, but that's basically how we do it. Okay, easy day. Facing this way, so we're going to push out, nose to the right, tail left. Okay, let's start doing our before start flows. You're going to hear a funny voice. Fantastic. I just turn these off because I don't need them, and I feel like they just eat up processing power. They might not, but that's just how I feel about it. Set, seat belts are on, ADRs are in nav, barrel ref is set. Alright, parking brake set, speed takeoff is set, windows are closed, beacons on. I don't put any lights on when it's dark, because when we get up there, those lights are going to be screaming. Right, tail left. Right, tail left. Alright, we got the view bleed on. Copy. Hey guy, where you going? Thank you. Alright, that was weird. Right. GSX is gonna GSX, yes. Just ignore it says American Airlines. I guess I'm British. Good engine start. Have a good engine start, lad. Now I sound like Brynjolf from Skyrim. Okay. Turn on the yellow electric pump. Set flaps 1. So basically we're going to go just straight out on Romeo Echo to Bravo, and go all the way Bravo, Romeo to Whiskey. Alright, there's our guy. Hello, bye-bye. Thanks, I see the pin. Fired up, baby. Got a 3-minute warm-up time on it. Newark traffic, United 1248, taxiing 22 right via Bravo, Romeo, Whiskey. It's like gray like that. To me, it's just too bright. I can still read everything. I don't need it to be like mega bright. That's what I'm going to now. Aggressive. After start, and I checked eCam status. That's how we do it. Rudder trim is 0. Flight controls. Just do a little bit on the rudder because I don't feel like there's something, but I get indication that means they work. Lap setting is 1. Cabin's ready. Radar predicted wind shear is on. Engine mode select is flex 70 degrees. And ECAM info takeoff now blue. FAA requirement to have the taxi chart up, even at your home airport. Fun fact. Alright, clear on base, clear on final. Traffic 9 1248, departing runway 22 right and Whiskey, IFR to the south. Newark. Alright, we've done the checklist. Lights. Camera. set. Airspeed alive.
fact, so over here you see this green light. Right, that's the reason why we have colored lights on aircraft and boats, right? Green is on the right side, right? And I don't see red and I don't see white, which means that they are coming, we are converging on a path in the same direction. I'm on their right side. Right? Thankfully they're 5,000 feet above us, but you can see how we're staying in the same spot on the windscreen over here. That means that we're converging at the same rate. So if we were at the same altitude, that would be problematic. Now you know. So green light means that you're coming on the right side. before, I'm gonna leave the fasten seatbelt on. Should be about an hour en route today. Once we're through this scud layer, we should be a pretty smooth ride all the way down to Raleigh, Durham. This is the fun part of the flight. I get to just kind of hang out for a little bit.
target altitude here. All right, target altitude, nice and smooth, nice clear air. Fasten seatbelt sign is coming off. I'd still recommend while you're seated, leave that seatbelt fastened, as clear air turbulence can happen at any time. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this view for a few minutes and cruise, and then we'll be back to it. Actually, before that, let's find out. That's the nice thing about the Airbus 35s. So we got about 30 minutes till the top of descent, which, interestingly enough, right, this is an 80 mile ring, right? So from here, that's about like 200 miles, and we're going 6 miles a minute. So whatever 200 divided by 6 is, no, 7 miles a minute, I'm sorry. 28.5 minutes, right? So it's this thing, in which, like, that's a rough number because I'm just going based on the descent stick. But if you look here, like 35, that's 30 minutes, minute and a half difference, it's like maybe 10 miles. So that's how you figure that out, how long it's going to take. All right. So, all right, as said before, I'm going to leave you guys to look at this view. So we're within 160 miles. 15 minutes until top of descent. So 160 miles. We're going 7 miles a minute. So that's like 20 minutes. No, 15 minutes. Anyway, all right. Tackle 3. Actually, let's check the weather first. We'll do input the weather into the flight computer in a minute, but once we get a little closer. Alright, so they're landing. That's why I like to give you kind of in Navigraph, it gives you kind of a quick snapshot, just real quick, right? In case, like if we hadn't put in the runway, we could just look quick and be like, okay, we're landing south, and then that takes half the runways out of the hopper, right? All right, information come back. The first, 0151 Zulu. All right, 2005 knots, 10 statute miles. Visibility scattered at 25,000 feet. Temperature 21, dew point 17, altimetry 025. Automated weather. Sea level pressure is 1024.1. That's basically this. And over the hour, temperatures 20.6 and 16.7 as an average, right? So that's pretty close to what we have here. That means it's relatively stable weather. That's why it's generally clear. It's not clear because there's clouds at 250, but it's clear underneath that, right? So it's generally fine. That's why we have some light winds out of the south. Converging approaches in use. Expect a visual 23 left, 23 right. We'll just put the ILS in for simplicity's sake, but we'll just look outside. We'll fly the bird down. It'll be great. And by the bird, I'll tell you in a minute. All right. Taxiway Fox 4 is close. We're going to do 23 left, which is on the southern side of the airport. Actually, yeah, we'll do you know what, why not? We'll do the RNAV, 23 left. Actually, what side of the airport do they even land on? Or do they even park at? Should probably know that. See, this is the benefit of starting your descent planning early. Now you can look stuff up. So they park on the south side of Terminal 2. So yeah, we'll do okay, we'll do 23 right, I guess. Just out of simplicity's sake. Here is how we change it. Alright, flight plan, we'll just go here. Arrival, RNAV, Yankee, 23 right. Via E-cell. Is that, yeah. Insert.
no discons, which is great. Now we're going to make sure that it actually lines up. Esel, Marby, Dabkey, Preston, Bodley, 2-3 right. Good. And we're coming up on Hydra. So we're not even quite at Hookie yet. Okay, we're not even at like Middle or Virginia, Northern Virginia. This is by the Northern Neck. Again, Norfolk's over here. So we got a little bit. 10 minutes. Down the pipe, right? Let's see, Hookie at level 260, so we'll be above 220, and this box. Okay, above 13, but okay, it's not saying to do that yet. Swept. Okay. Right, again, we'll stay ahead of the game here. Let's go ahead and put the weather in. Alright, what is it? I like to do this just because it's simpler. 190.05. Okay, so this is interesting, right? So this said 190.05, but wait, if you're sharp, you saw 220.05. That's because there's a difference between true direction and magnetic, and METARs are typically red versus ATISs are heard. So you can think of it this way: if you read it, it must be true, so it's in true. So east is least and west is best. We're 10 degrees west on the East Coast, so I'm going to add 10 degrees or 11 degrees typically, and it's rounded, so to the nearest tenth, or to the nearest whole number. So this is going to be 10 degrees. So it's 190.05, and ATIS you always get true, but you always get magnetic in the ATIS, so because that's what you're going to read when you're flying. So that's why there's a 10 degree discrepancy. So it's 190.05. Or actually, it will just be 2.005. That's what we should put. That's the difference here. All right, 2-1. I use the LNAV VNAV, and you're going to add 50 feet, 78, 76, 76. ADC delay. Kiss my butt. Kiss my butt.
So they're clearly going the opposite direction. What color would it be? It'd be green, right? Because we'd be on their right side, and that's the steady light. The red flash is their beacon light. That's just how it is in Microsoft Flight Sim. But that is how you tell. But I like in 24, like how much better you can see, like lighting out in the sim.
down the chute we go here in a couple minutes.
Some light traffic at Raleigh Durham, nothing crazy.
No ATC on. That's where it's kind of boring when there's no ATC on, isn't it?
Is it
30.25 is the altimeter. Just gotta remember that. 3025. 876. Oh yeah, that's another thing. So the airport elevation is 435. Like, let's say this was, let's just say it was 025 here instead of flight 250. Let's say it was 2,500. Right, that's above field elevation, right? So, you know, obviously in the flight levels it doesn't matter, but down low, let's say it was like, or even 200 feet, right? If it's at 002, like broken at 002, that's above ground level or above field, right? So the actual MSL, which would be on your altimeter or on your altitude tape, would be 635, right? But it's 250. We have nothing to worry about, but just something to show you the discrepancies versus, like, once you're experienced enough, you start to see it's because of things like true versus magnetic, or field elevation versus above ground level, or above ground level versus mean sea level. Mean sea level is your altimeter, above ground level is your radar altimeter. So your barometric minimums, that's going to be what shows on your speed tape. Down here, right, in the parentheses, that's above ground level, right? So what's your touchdown zone elevation? 409, whatever 409 plus 417 is. What's 17 plus 9? Oh, it's 800. It would be 26. 4 plus 4 is 8. 826. That's how they get that. But we use baro, which is the big number. Fun fact. All right, time to start our descent.
the cabin attendants just to know, start wrapping it up, start collecting that trash, cleaning up.
Coming through with their trash bag. Get your final snacks in. Now, typically on longer arrivals, I would do vertical speed on the way down. This one I'm just gonna do managed, just because I'm lazy tonight, because it's kind of late and there's not really a lot going on. Or on a departure where there's no altitude restrictions, I'm going to use open climb. Just get as high as I can as soon as I can, get into cruise. put in 30 nautical mile radius here. And what I like to do when I'm flying on frequency is, since we have CTAF rules here in the United States, when I get inside this ring, which is I should be about 1,100 or 11,000 feet anyway, it's usually 10,000 feet above field, is about 30 miles out. That's when I'm going to start monitoring the CTAF frequency, which is what we put in over here at standby. So if you're not sure when to switch to it, nobody's really going to tell you. 30 miles is a good bet.
Alright, 3025.
Alright, so as we're descending and we're getting close, we talked about the path here, right? So 5,000 is the lowest altitude you can be, but it's a mandatory 6 at each cell, right? So this is basically your lowest safe altitude on this route is 5,000. If you're off the route, your minimum safe altitude is 3,400. You'll be 2,000 feet above any hazard. Okay, so 234 is the final approach course. Bodley at 2,200. Alright, so 3-degree glide path. We'll probably be somewhere in this range, anywhere between 650 and 750 per minute on the descent. So a lot of words here. Basically, this doesn't matter in the sim. Summit's birth is authorized. Flight director required. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so number 5 is the big one. VGSI and RNAV glide path not coincident. So touchdown crossing height, touchdown zone threshold crossing height is 69 feet, right? If you come here, you're going to cross at 55, right? So if you're following the calculated path on the flight directors all the way down, you will cross the threshold lower than you would if you were flying the lights. So 2 red, 2 white. So if you're following these all the way down, or the needles all the way down, you are going to look low on the lights. So don't let that confuse you, and that's why they put a note here. Typically, once I can see the threshold pretty clearly, I'm using the lights, right? Now, I like to cross at 50 feet, so I'm going to be low anyway. I'm just used to it. But you're a visual anyway, so you can maintain visual separation with stuff. Now, it is night, so it is safer in the real world to use the lights, because that will guarantee that you don't hit anything on the ground. Rant over. So once we get down to 250 and I go manage speed, I'm actually going to switch over to vertical speed and get down to 8. Sorry, 6 as soon as I can, so I can slow down to 210 because the Airbus is not very good at slowing down and going down at the same time. Yep, I'm going to start now. I'll leave the speed brake out. I know it's kind of yelling at me, but typically I'd put this up, but I'm not because I want to talk through some stuff. I will once we're on final. Get down to 6, slow to 210. Then we're good from there. And the reason I can do that is because on the actual arrival, right, it says be below 12. Well, we're already below 12, so we can get down to 6s as soon as we want, as long as we don't go below 9. No, not 9, 6. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. All right. We're leaving the speed brake out. I know. Stop yelling at me. So we can slow down, and we're going to go here to perf, activate the approach phase. That way when we click this again, it'll be manage speed, and that'll be our descent. Kind of run the checklist already, but we're approach minimums are set, auto brake set, engine mode as required. We'll go ignition just out of continuity's sake. Approach checklist complete. Oh, I forgot to do my little thing. Rally room traffic, United 1248, 25 miles to the northeast, inbound 23 right, rally room. Up on the intermediate fix. Which is Marby. So, alright, we'll start with flaps 1. So basically the taxi is going to be just off where we can, probably Bravo 4 straight in. So we'll have a really short taxi, so we'll have to wait at the gate to shut down because we probably won't have 3 minutes cool down. Alright, runway environments in sight. So I'm going to switch to
the bird. Basically on the bird, right, this has the flight director, which is the bigger one. But when you turn off the flight director, you have these little sticks. That's the wing and the elevator. Basically, it's showing you your attitude through the air and the vector that the airplane is traveling. Okay, so on a 3-degree glide path, which is what our approach chart says, right, it says 3 degrees. The end of this bird, the top of the bird, goes on the very top part of the white on the attitude indicator, and that will give you a 3-degree glide path every time. So it's there to kind of encourage you to fly more visually instead of chasing the needles around. So we'll keep the flight directors on until we start actually flying. But also too, if you're flying managed in the Airbus, if you're flying the auto throttle off, you don't want the flight director on. So it's a good habit to get into. Okay, past Marby, we'll start slowing. Alright, they're ascending out. Rally traffic, United 1248, 15-mile final, 2 tree right. Rally. Alright, high. And final. There we go. 130 is our final approach speed. So look, alright, ground speed's this. It's about 1,000 feet per minute for a 3-degree. Look at the top of the birds right on the white. That's what we're looking for. Just as a... Alright, VFE next, -10. Landing no blue. Landing checklist complete. VFE next -10. And flaps full. Okay. What the heck? Why does it keep doing that? Rally to traffic, United 1248, short final, 2 tree right. Rally. I don't like that. That's really upsetting me. Stop.
Okay, I gotta kill a chase plane. This is gonna mess me up, dude. It's already messing me up. It's weird, I've never had that problem before. Okay, so basically right now I'm looking outside the window more than I am looking inside. I'm just a little bit high. I know it's not what the sticks or the bricks say, but remember, we're going to cross the threshold at 3 lights, not 2 lights. See how it's 2 right, 2 red? We should cross at 3 red, 1 white. If we maintain. Continue. There we go. See how we're right on the bricks? That's what that means, that not coincident on the chart. Just fly it all the way down. We're flying it all the way down.
100. 50. 40. 20. Retard. Retard. Drive.
It's a little bit off center, that's alright. We're not really going to brake because we park all the way down at the end. Plus 60, clear the reversers. Anything crosses the line, we can start configuring. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Raleigh Durham. Oh, look, about 1 hour and 3 minutes. I'm gonna leave this on so I can see. Taxiing kind of crappy, but I don't really care. Alright. Hopefully Chase or GSX works. The only problem is that I don't own a lot of third-party aircraft or airports, and GSX sometimes doesn't want to work. Let's see if this works. So about a minute left.
down. There we go. See if GSX works. Below 15 into, we can kill the beacon. Boom. Okay, deboarding requested. Alright, it worked. Yay, that's cool. Alright, now we know it works at Raleigh. That's pretty sweet. Alright, so, alright. Our flight from Newark to Raleigh Durham, pretty uneventful. Um, besides the weird camera thing on final. I don't know, that hasn't really happened to me before, so I'm not sure what that's about. But um, yeah, I hope what I did was helpful and you learned something. I'm always learning every single time that I fly on the sim. I learn something new and I challenge myself to do something new. So I hope that that helps you uh, get into that mindset as well. So thanks for joining me. If you're watching this on a replay, thanks for watching, and um, I'm glad to be back, and I'll see you guys soon.